guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today we will talk about motivation, and I'm gonna give you my top 15 tips how to find motivation, how to push yourself to accomplish things, how to find that inner productivity when you're feeling a little lazy, when you're feeling a little down and you want to get stuff done. My first tip is don't try to be something that you're not, and instead of that, focus on the thing that you are and you are good at. Try to find that thing that you're really good at, start loving it and improving it. That will have a huge impact on how you evaluate, how you see yourself, and if you see yourself in a positive manner, you will find inner motivation, especially with Instagram and such, seeing other people's lives, body shapes, success, whatever it might be. I know that it's very overwhelming and it generally makes people focus on what they don't have and be jealous of what other people have, but everybody has problems. Obviously, this has been a topic that people talk about all the time on the internet, and I think the only thing that you can do about this is either to stop following people like that or start looking at it in a different perspective, start looking at yourself in a more positive way instead of comparing yourself and your life with those people. I challenge you all to find 5 great things about yourself and write them down in your planner, your diary, or your phone, and focus on those 5 things, how you can leverage them. Number 2 is about feeling good, because if you don't feel good, you won't be motivated. Feeling good, feeling healthy and happy has a direct impact on motivation, and for that, what I suggest to do is to start getting up early. I have a dedicated video about getting up early. You can check that out if you need some new, less talked tips. But getting up early is such a simple thing to do. When you wake up a little bit earlier, you know that there are plenty of time ahead of you for that day to accomplish more, and it immediately puts your brain in a more productive state. Number 3 is for those of you who are working from home, who are not working, who are students, who are not getting up and getting dressed to go to work every day. This is also my life. I noticed that when I don't put on clothes, when I'm walking around and working in lounge clothes or pajamas, I don't feel as motivated and as productive. So I started getting up, putting some makeup on, putting some nice clothes on. Even though if I'm not gonna go anywhere, even though I'm gonna come here and sit on this desk, I still like to put on clothes, and I immediately feel better. I immediately feel more motivated to get stuff done. Number 4, routines are key to motivation. It can be a morning routine, evening routine, Sunday routine, Saturday routine, you name it. Routines are so helpful because you don't give your brain time to procrastinate, you don't give your brain time to postpone and be lazy. You just have a routine that you follow without thinking. And my personal tip on that is, especially for the morning routine, add some step to your routine that you really love doing. It could be drinking your favorite cup of coffee, it could be calling your best friend, it could be anything that you have pure joy. And after you're done with your routine that also has that one step that you love, you will feel so much more positive, and positivity is the key to motivation. 5, music. Have music around. I love to have music on all the time, especially when I'm working. I'm using Spotify. I'm using these playlists that I've made specifically for concentration, and these are generally songs that don't have lyrics in, and they're also stimulating your brain to be more productive and to be clear, if that makes sense. So if I'm going to work, I put on one of those playlists and have it as a background music, but music can also motivate you in different times and different tasks. For instance, if you need to clean your room, put on some upbeat music. I also have a list called Mood Up, I think, that is a little bit more energetic, that is pushing me to work physically, to move physically. It is great for cleaning around, and it is also great for working out. Now that we talked a little about movement, let's go to tip number 6. It is actually moving. So this is a scientific fact that when you move, you create these hormones, endorphins, that makes you feel better and happier. So if you're not doing anything, if you're not working out, if you're someone who is just going to work or, working and coming back home and getting on with life without any movement, I strongly urge you to involve some kind of movement in your life. It could be yoga, it could be walking around, it could be really anything. There are plenty of videos out there. You can just find something that works for your lifestyle, but spending 10 to 20 minutes, depending on how much time you have, moving is scientifically going to make you more motivated. Number 7 is again about our bodies, and it is food. Everybody talks about this. I also can't emphasize enough how important it is to eat clean. I used to eat fast food all the time when I was living in Turkey, and by all the time I mean twice a day McDonald's. And because of all the vitamins and minerals that I was not putting in my body, I was feeling tired all the time and slouchy and lazy. And once we started eating a little bit cleaner, a little bit more vegetable based or like whole foods based, I started feeling so much more energetic, and if you have energy, you can get stuff done. If you don't have time to prepare a clean, good dish every day, I strongly recommend checking out meal planning. I used to do that when I was still going to the lab every day because I didn't have the time. Now that I work from home, I can cook, but if you're someone who can't cook daily, start planning out your meals for 3 to 4 days and just put them in containers and put them in your fridge. They will be good and you don't have to think about it, so you won't be going out to eat or ordering in. Number 9 is about changing things up. I am someone who loves change. I think maybe a little too much, but if you also like change, that could help you get motivated. I like to change up things. I like to change furniture around. I like to change what is in the kitchen. I like to optimize the house on a regular basis, really. I like to change things once or twice a month, but that could give you that fresh feeling you might need and take you out of the rut that you might be in to find a little bit more motivation to get stuff done. I used to have my work area on my vanity desk, and I started to feel the room was really bothering me. It was like too much, if you know what I mean. So I moved it here, and I felt like I moved to a different place altogether. And that feeling of new, feeling of change is something that keeps me motivated. That's why I wanted to include this here as a tip for you. Number 10 is planning. I am a huge fan of planners. I even have a company where I also produce planners. You can go check them out in the description box. But planning is key when it comes to motivation, because if you plan your day ahead, if you plan your day the night before, you don't really have to think about what you're gonna do in the day when you wake up, or you're not going to spend time to plan or spend time to procrastinate. You just wake up and follow that plan that you just created the night before, and that will help you so much more. I'm telling you, similar to the routines, planning your days are so important. I made a video recently about day planning. I'll leave the link on the screen right now if you're interested in that. There's also a free printable that will help you plan your days in detail, and I think it's very useful if you also have very busy days like I do. But even if you don't, you can use a planner, you can use Google Calendar, whatever means you like to use, start planning. Also plan not just your days, but your goals, your months, your years. You can make a bucket list. I like to visualize my goals. Let's say I want to create a new product for my brand. What I like to do is first I think about the product, I design the product for a month or so, and then I optimize it. I find a producer, I take the prototype, I test it myself. So it is a whole process, but if I have that final product in my head, if I can visualize it, it is so much easier to work towards it on a daily basis. So visualize, maybe write down your goals on your planner as well, and then break it down to daily actions. Without the visual goal, without the bigger goal itself, maybe those daily tasks might seem very insignificant, but when you have the goal in mind, you will feel that you're working towards it, and that will keep you motivated. If you're someone who likes to see those things on a daily basis, I can also suggest using vision boards. You can YouTube search it. There are plenty of people who are doing that, and I think it's a brilliant idea, especially if you put it somewhere where you see it every morning when you wake up. Number 12, people. People are so important when it comes to motivation. Like I said, you are the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. And if you're surrounding yourself with unmotivated, unsuccessful people, you are going to be one of them. So I'm not telling you to cut out people. I mean, that is something that we can discuss for sure. But what I'm saying is try to hang out with people that are more motivated, that are more successful, maybe a little bit more hardworking, and that will have a huge impact on your personal motivation and work habits. Number 13, adapt a power pose when you're feeling unmotivated or uninspired. I love to use this power pose when you go and open your arms all the way and then feel very strong and big. This actually scientifically, again, produces hormones that you feel a little bit bigger and successful and better, and that is also great for keeping motivated. This could be a great trick when you're going into job interviews or important meetings. I think I heard about this on a TED Talk. If I can find the link, I'll leave it in the description box so you can just go ahead and watch that TED Talk, which was so inspirational. Number 14, do one thing at a time. This is also inspired by a book, The One Thing. If you didn't read it, I strongly recommend that you do. But it basically tells you to focus on one thing at a time, and how for me it affects my motivation is I make the to-do list of the day like I mentioned in my day planning video, but then I pick one task that is absolutely crucial for me to accomplish that day. And at the end of the day, when you accomplish just one little thing, you have one win that makes you feel successful and you're satisfied with the day. And there is nothing that creates motivation more than satisfaction. Just one thing. Find one thing that you have to do, that you want to do every day, and just do it. The next tip is about rewarding yourself. I love that, especially when I'm doing a bigger task, when I'm accomplishing a bigger goal. Of course, accomplishing that goal is already a reward enough, but if you put something else at the end of the row for you, it might make you a little bit more motivated. Maybe you can say, when I finish writing this essay, I will call my best friend for half an hour. When I finish tidying up the kitchen, I will make my favorite cup of tea. Something small that makes you happy. Start rewarding yourself so you can train your brain into thinking, get the work done, and you will get a reward in the end. And lastly, if you're someone who likes to write about days, if you like to journal, if you like to track your days, I think this tip could be a great thing. Every night before you go to bed, write down 5 good things that you did during that day. It could be helping out someone, it could be calling someone that you didn't call in a while and ask them how they are. It could be anything good that you felt good about. Write them down, and you can also write how you felt after doing that thing. It doesn't necessarily have to be a work-related or a goal-related thing. Any good deed that you did that day, you can just write it down on a journal. I like to keep mine in my planner as well, in the diary pages. You write that down, and when you're feeling unmotivated, when you're feeling in a rut, go and read that. I mean, who doesn't like to read the good things they did in the past, right? So start writing them down. It will put you in a great place before bed as well, but it is gonna be your resource to go when you're feeling unmotivated. So these are the tips that I wanted to share with you today. I hope you find the video useful. If you did, please feel free to share it with someone you think who might benefit from this as well. And I'll see you in my next videos. Bye!